Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello and welcome to episode 188 of Total Retail Talks. In today's episode, Executive Editor Joe Keenan sits down with Karl Varsanyi, Group Vice President of Digital Product Management and User Experience at Albertsons Companies, one of the largest food and drug retailers in the U.S., operating over 2,300 stores under 20 well-known banners. Listen in as Karl discusses the launch of Albertsons' online marketplace with partner Mirakl and how the grocer is using customer data to influence decisions made in stores. All recorded live at Grocery Shop 2018 in Las Vegas. And now on to the show.
Hi, I'm Joe Keenan of Total Retail. I'm here at Grocery Shop in Las Vegas. I am joined by Karl Varsanyi, who is the General Vice President of Digital Product Management at Albertsons Companies. Karl just is going to join me and answer a couple of questions here. He spoke earlier at the show and just have a few questions for him. So thanks for joining me, Karl.
Great. Good to be here.
Let's start by talking a little bit about, I think you spoke about this topic yesterday, but why Albertsons, a traditional brick-and-mortar grocer, has decided to launch an online marketplace?
The genesis of it really was a bunch of observations that we made when we first got into establishing our digital mission. So the first observation was that our aisles today and our business is really constrained by the aisles that we have today and the finite amount of space inside of our stores. So merchants, they work hard at really trying to figure out what merchandise to put in what store, but ultimately that finite space constrains them. So for every one product they put into a store, there's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, depending on the category, that they're unable to put in the store. And ultimately, that means we're turning down a bunch of sellers. We're not putting a bunch of merchandise in our stores. And customers that are coming in, they're looking for things and they're unable to find what they want, some subset. So one answer to that solution is to offer an infinite aisle and extended assortment to customers. So that's one. Another reason to do this was, as we were researching the market, we realized there are a bunch of interesting small sellers out there that don't have a voice in the marketplace today, and we can offer them a place to actually cut through a lot of the noise in the online marketplace space, and then also, in the physical space as well.
So the visitors that are coming to the online marketplace, what might they expect to find? And kind of a second part to that is, how might that differ from if they entered one of your store banners?
Yeah, so really back to some of the research that we've done, we know that customers are looking for a deeper and broader assortment of natural, organic, specialty, and local merchandise. And again, those physical constraints and also the amount of products that are actually available, right, make it really, really hard to narrow down a subset of those things. So we're going to have a much wider variety and wider selection of that type of merchandise that's really going to help meet those customer needs and the gaps that we have in our stores today.
So as a traditional brick-and-mortar grocer, maybe you can talk a little bit about the challenges that are associated with launching an online marketplace, and then how working with Mirakl has kind of helped to address some of them those challenges.
Yeah, I think, one, the business model in general is very different than a traditional, I buy merchandise and I stock it in a warehouse business model, and that immediately in a large company like Albertsons becomes a challenging conversation with people that are used to thinking about the business in a certain way. So inevitably, there's a lot of education that has to take place with merchants, with legal, with, a bunch of administrative folks within the company and business units so they understand the model in general and how it's different. So that takes time in a big company. As far as implementing the technology and the platform, there's a piece of this that is enabling sellers to essentially manage their business. So onboard the products that they have, manage their pricing, download their orders, manage customer service. All of that, the biggest players in the space, they have deep pockets and they can build out these tools. We decided to partner with Mirakl because they have a great product solution in this space that really allows retailers to enable those capabilities for sellers really simply and easily, and it's an elegant solution. So it was a speed to market play for us, and they do a really good job in that space.
So you mentioned, one of the factors, reasonings for launching the marketplace is to kind of bring to light some of these brands that, might not have an opportunity, might not be featured in stores, kind of create that endless aisle. Can you talk about the criteria that you're looking at in terms of choosing which brands you want to include on the marketplace and have them able to sell their product?
Yeah, so we kind of have a few different categories of sellers. So we have the small artisan sellers, which again we're trying to give them a voice. So we're looking for unique, differentiated product that's in that natural, organic, specialty, local space that we know customers are really attracted to, and sellers that have really, really great stories to tell. They're usually origin stories where, they can attract a bunch of consumers because they're really connecting with them emotionally. So that's one group. We have distributors that we're partnering with that have a bunch of merchandise like this, so that we can actually have a big, broad selection of certain types of merchandise. And then we're also talking to CPGs, and then we're also talking to internal business units. So our own brands team, they're going to actually sell through the platform as well, which is great because they can now extend the reach of their product beyond, the physical footprint. They can get it onto people's doorsteps via a direct ship model.
So one of the benefits of this marketplace will be, the data that you're able to collect on your customers that are shopping from it. So I'm interested in, what are the types of data that you're going to be looking to collect on your customers from the marketplace, and then two, how can that information be used to potentially influence decisions that you're making in store?
Yeah. So in general, what's selling where to what type of customer is a super valuable thing for our merchant community, so that they can decide what they're going to put inside of stores and in which stores. So being able to do that in a really scalable and efficient way with a digital marketplace and direct-to-consumer selling really allows us to have that data and feed that back to our merchant community. So the more products that we get, the more demand that we generate via this, we get more data, and then we're going to feed that back into our merchant community so they can make better decisions.
A big theme of this conference has been sort of the disruption and, the transformation of the grocery space. How have kind of changing consumer behaviors, and by that, big thing being in there, increased willingness to shop for groceries online, been a factor in Albertsons' decision to launch an online marketplace?
Yeah, so what we're seeing is that customers are more and more comfortable with a variety of different fulfillment options. Of course, there's walking into a physical store location, which people have been doing for a long time, but people are now ordering ahead, picking up in store. They're ordering ahead, driving up, and we're loading groceries into their car. They're doing same-day delivery, next-day delivery, subscription packages. So they're doing a variety of different fulfillment options, and they're very comfortable because of the roads that have been paved by other retailers with direct shipping from general carriers, et cetera. So we see that shift happening, that comfort, and we also believe that we need to participate in many of these different fulfillment methods as a grocery store to be able to deliver against what customers want, which at the end of the day is convenience, right? Things need to arrive when they need to arrive to meet a customer's needs.
Great. Well, I want to take this opportunity to thank Karl Varsanyi of Albertsons Companies for joining me today at Grocery Shops. Thanks, Karl.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcasts. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, and now on Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.